This is Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Good evening, family, ladies and gents, scholars and laymen. Welcome to another wonderful infotainment, edutainment edition of The Artivist Thinks. This is your friend, Brother Ron, also known as R2C2H2 The Artivist. I am broadcasting from hollow ground. This is the final mortal remain resting place of the one and only Fannie Lou HaMEr. I'm in Fannie Lou HaMEr Park. This is the final resting place as far as mortal remains goes for the one and only Fannie Lou HaMEr, who is a mother of the modern day civil rights movement. Her and her husband, Pap HaMEr, are resting here in beautiful Ruleville, Mississippi, where she made her home. I want to thank everybody for subscribing and tuning in to We All Be TV. I want to thank everybody who offered constructive criticism and support on my Slavery is a Choice video. You're going to stir up a hornet's nest lately. It's interesting that people said that they are Team Killmonger after the Black Panther movie, but they anti-Kanye. Did not Killmonger subscribe to what Kanye West said as far as slavery being a choice? But the reason why I'm here is that the ancestors moved me to drive all the way down from Memphis, Tennessee, to do a broadcast from here. This weekend coming up is Mother's Day 2018. And Fannie Lou HaMEr, like I said, she's a mother of the modern day civil rights movement, but also she was denied the right to be a biological mother. She was denied the right. They robbed her of her choice to be a biological mother. She was sterilized by the state of Mississippi without her consent. Once again, let me say, Fannie Lou HaMEr was sterilized by the state of Mississippi without her consent. This was not unusual back in the day. You had over 21 states that did involuntary sterilization of women. Now, this should not be that hard to believe, because not too long ago, it was a story that came out of the California penal system where they were sterilizing female inmates. America invented eugenics. America invented Nazism. Adolf Hitler got his ideas about how to do what he do from America. You had American white businessmen, so-called elite white businessmen that supported Adolf Hitler. Ford made his vehicles. They said Hitler had a large portrait of Henry Ford in his office, that he was well respected by Hitler. He made their vehicles. You have, the Rockefellers. Sold them oil. War is nothing about profit making. War is not about justice. It's not about liberation. It's about enslavement of other people's resources for the benefit of a few. Look at World War I. One of the biggest benefactors of World War I was the DuPont family. They made a lot of money off the chemicals and the gas mask. But let me get back. I'm getting farther astray. We talked about Fannie Lou HaMEr. And the reason why I want to talk about Fannie Lou HaMEr, because once she realized that slavery was a choice, she was all in for liberation. Once Fannie Lou HaMEr realized that slavery was a choice, she was all about liberation. See, I want to tell you a little bit about Fannie Lou HaMEr, because we live in such a microwave society. We don't do our research. We're not as woke as we could be because we don't study our past, because nothing is really past. The past is the present is the future. Everything coexists. See how it works? You know, the ancestors are not dead. They are still around. I am talking to you from Fannie Lou HaMEr's park, the Fannie Lou HaMEr Park, Memorial Park, but the final resting place as far as the mortal remains of her husband and herself. But let me tell you about Fannie Lou HaMEr. Like I said, the state sterilized her without her consent, but she didn't find out she could vote until she was in her 40s. Fannie Lou HaMEr did not know that she had the choice to vote until she was in her 40s. She lived mostly her life up to that point on a plantation. As a matter of fact, she worked as a timekeeper at a plantation for 18 years. So on August 31st, 1962, she tried to register to vote. The next day, she lost her job for 18 years. So she was basically kicked off the plantation. Like, she had a job for 18 years. She lost her job security because she tried to exercise her right to vote because she did not know she had a choice. See, once she figured out that she had a choice, she wanted to become liberated. So, like I said, slavery is a choice. Then let's go to 1963, when she got involved with SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. She became a field secretary for SNCC. And mind, this is a sister in her 40s. They were coming back from an SCLC event, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, had a training session that her and her people were coming back from. They were arrested at a whites-only restaurant in Winona, Mississippi. Winona, Mississippi, right? She was taken to a jail, and she was beaten up almost to within an inch of her life by two black inmates. The two black inmates beat her up. She pleaded with the black inmates. How can you do this to your own race? The police directed and told the black male inmates, to beat up Fannie Lou HaMEr and within an inch of her life. They had a choice not to beat the sister up. Even the sister said, please don't do it. They had a choice, but they did it anyway. Police brutality is a choice. The cops got away with it. So the cops utilized the black inmates to beat up Sister Fannie Lou HaMEr. Never forget that black folks helped kidnap and murder Emmett Till. Those brothers, J.W. Milam and Roy Bryant, could not do it without black folks' help. Same thing with Fannie Lou HaMEr. She was beaten nearly to death with the help of black male inmates. They didn't have to do it, but they wasn't thinking community. They was thinking about themselves. They said, they probably thinking, if I said no, what would happen to me? Rather, what would happen to us if I beat this sister up? But that didn't deter Fannie Lou HaMEr. No, she became a founding member of the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, which tried to get seated at the National Democratic Convention in Atlantic City back in the summer of '64. This is Freedom Summer. We had the three civil rights workers, Michael Swerner, Andrew Goodman, and the black Mississippian, James Chaney, beaten to death and killed in lynch in Neshoba County with the sheriff department down there along with the Klan. So they went to Atlantic City, tried to get seated by the National Democratic Convention. The National Democratic Convention offered them a compromise. They would not compromise. So Fannie Lou HaMEr fought the good fight, and she died from cancer-related illness back in 1977. But what I'm saying is, this sister realized once she was at the age of 44 that she didn't have to be a slave. That she was sick and tired of being sick and tired. She was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and she realized at 44 that she did not have to go alone to get along. That she did not have to be a slave. That, in the words of Patrick Henry, she was saying, give me liberty or give me death, but don't make me a slave. So I think it's important, because I'm glad that Kanye said what he said, because it gave me a chance to talk to you all about Fannie Lou HaMEr. And I want y'all to do your own research, because take a look. It's all online. You don't have to necessarily come down to Ruralville, Mississippi to pay your respects. You pay your respects by doing the work that Fannie Lou HaMEr started herself in her 40s, at the age of 44. Like what Dr. John Henry Clark said, you bury the man, you continue to plan. It don't stop with one person. A lot of us are waiting for a black messiah, but we are the black messiahs that we're waiting for. That person staring back at you at the mirror is your black messiah, is your savior, is the one you've been waiting for all your life. We used to come from a community of leaders, a communal mindset. We need communal leadership. I remember reading a story about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., like the SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee would jokingly call Dr. King the Lord. The Lord has come. The Lord. The Lord. Dr. King had a Messiah complex. A.L.L. Baker, one of the founding members of SNCC, as well as SCLC, an unsung women freedom fighter, like Fannie and HaMEr, you know, they're in a class of their own. She used to get into debates or discussions with Dr. King. Well, Dr. King thought that you need a leader, a charismatic leader to lead the populace. A.L.L. Baker said it had to be a village of leaders. See, people forget that Dr. King was not always the so-called, what we think of the consensus leader of the movement. He was drafted into the movement by a community of leaders, by the E.D. Nixons, by the Joanne Robinsons, by the Montgomery Improvement Association. It was a community of leaders and activists that made Dr. King who he was. He did not come on the scene and say, I am your leader, you submit to me. He had to earn that, and people had to pick him and select him as the leader. He was selected to lead the Montgomery bus boycott. He did not want to lead it. He was a newcomer. He was in his 20s, just started at Dexter Avenue Baptist Church. They chased out Dr. Vernon John. Vernon John was like John the Baptist, Dr. King's Jesus. But here's the thing, even Jesus needed his 12 disciples. So Dr. King, anybody, we need leaders. We need community leaders. And Fannie HaMEr was all about the village. And we really need to get back to that village concept. And what I love about Fannie HaMEr is that she believed in black love. She believed in the black family. She was not used as a Trojan horse or was as a puppet for the white feminists. They tried to integrate or tried to sabotage the movement, and she recognized what was going on. Fannie HaMEr understood that the real Holy Trinity was the black man, woman, and child. Once again, let me say, the real Holy Trinity is the black man, woman, and child. And Fannie Lou HaMEr understood that. She practiced that. She knew that when we was together as a family unit, as a village, that nobody could defeat us, because she understood, or rather understood, that black power is unity and solidarity. White power, what this system runs on, is divide and conquer. It's divide and conquer. That's how white power stay in power. Black power is about unity and solidarity. If you look at Montgomery bus boycott, it was when the black man and black woman got on the same page that things changed. Look at the Birmingham movement, Project C Birmingham, when them children start going to jail, start getting bit by police and water hose. Is when the black man, woman, and child work together. This is when we all can become liberated together. We don't need white allies. We need black power. We need black family. We need black love. That's what's needed right now. If you look at that silly movie, Claudine, y'all say that's a comedy. I said that was a tragedy with Diane Carroll and James Earl Jones, who's from Mississippi. And the thing about it is that when the white social worker came around, he had to hide in the closet because they didn't want the black family unit together, excuse me. You look at the 60s, you had more black families with two-parent households than you do now. See, that's been socially programmed, that we have single-parent families, that we neglect our responsibilities. And really, you got to blame the boomers for that. They had all the benefits that the millennials have yet to really take advantage of. They said the millennials are spoiled. The millennials been fucked over by the baby boomer generation. You know what I'm saying? That's another video. And I'm not trying to point fingers, but I'm saying I'm tired of hearing older people, especially black folks, who have not left nothing for their children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And people, I remember when Barbara Bush died, and you got black folks all said about Barbara Bush, but Barbara Bush kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, and all the coming generations won't inherit the win. They won't inherit the win. But with black people, we can't even leave our people a good name sometimes, let alone, we don't even have burial insurance, let alone, how we going to leave anything? Our children are inheriting the win, but yet you tell them to submit to an evil and wicked and nasty system. Fannie Lou HaMEr said, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. Should we all be sick and tired of being sick and tired? That is the question right now. So you talking about slavery is not a choice? We are enslaved. You enslaved to debt. You enslaved to a lot of things. And we don't even know it. We are enslaved to the entertainment industry complex. We are enslaved to the religious industry complex. You know, it's one of the biggest money makers. I come from Memphis, one of the poorest big cities in the country. We got more churches per capita than some folks have guns. You know what I'm saying? So we got so many churches in Memphis, but the poverty is so real. It's engineered poverty. You got almost 30% of the population living in poverty. And that's normal. Fuck cost of living when your quality of life ain't shit. Oh, the cost of living is good, but the quality of life ain't shit. It's not about quantity. It's about motherfucking quality. So what I'm saying is slavery was and is a choice. You know, we talk about the Buffalo Soldiers. White folks could not win manifest destiny in this country without black folks' help. Black folks is the white man's best friend, not a goddamn dog. Black folks are the white man's best friend. We the most loyal, most forgiving, most obedient, more so than a dog, to white folks. So what I'm saying is, what if the Buffalo Soldiers, instead of fighting for the mass genocide and the eminent domain of Turtle Island, what if they fought for their own liberation? What if the Buffalo Soldiers, what if all the black soldiers focus on liberating themselves? Because you got to realize, with the Montgomery bus boycott, and even with the Mississippi Freedom Movement, a lot of people that were in leadership positions who were activists in these movements were veterans from World War II and the Korean War. Medgar Evers and his brother Charles Evers, who's almost 100 years young and still looking good for his age, were World War II veterans. Moore, I believe, was a World War II veteran. You had black GIs coming home being lynched, like in Mississippi, for example. You had black GIs being lynched in full uniform, found in the waterways of Mississippi. And I believe it was Amzie Moore who wrote a letter to the State Department complaining about this condition, and all of a sudden things stopped. Charles Hamilton Houston, who was the Jegna of Thurgood Marshall, who was the dean of Howard University Law School, was almost lynched in full uniform as a black officer in World War I by so-called American doughboys. These are white soldiers from America, white GIs. They almost lynched Charles Hamilton Houston in France because they were jealous because the French women were more interested in the color boys with the so-called monkey tails. But Charles Hamilton Houston was almost lynched by American soldiers, white American soldiers. You know, I can tell you so many instances of people saying, when they saw my slavery video, people just lost their minds, like their head about to explode. I didn't say that black folks did not fight back, but a lot of black folks chose to be slaves. See, the thing about it is, I learned this. Nobody likes a coward. Not even the coward. Nobody likes a coward, not even the coward. Nobody wants to be related to a coward, not even a coward. So what I'm saying is, Denmark Vesey, or Vesey, whatever you want to call him, he knew that slavery was a choice. That's why he planned that insurrection in Charleston, but guess who stopped it? Some niggas. Nat Turner knew that slavery was the choice, but guess who stopped it? Some niggas. It wasn't, no, people talking about guns and stuff. Look at Vietnam. America won every battle in Vietnam. If you look at it from a militarily point of view, America won every battle in Vietnam but still lost the war. Why? America won every battle in Vietnam but still lost the war. I mean, it was Pyrrhic victory. It's about perception and the fact that how can you destroy or beat an enemy that's willing to die for what they want? During the Vietnamese, the Viet Cong were willing to die for what they wanted. If you do not fear death, how can you defeat an enemy that does not fear death? And you don't want to die. You would rather make a compromise or some type of deal. But these folks were willing to do kamikaze on your ass. So how can you defeat that? But the irony of all of this is that Ho Chi Minh was a fan of America. He was a fan of the Declaration of Independence. In fact, their Declaration of Independence is based on our stuff. Constitution, all that stuff. But here's the thing. He tried to meet with Woodrow Wilson at the end of World War I. And Woodrow Wilson would not meet with Ho Chi Minh. Woodrow Wilson, the so-called, we try to make the world safe for democracy, would not meet with Ho Chi Minh. And they had consequences decades later. Because what would happen if he met with Ho Chi Minh back in 1919 in Paris, doing the peace accords and all this stuff? Ho Chi Minh used to come to America. Ho Chi Minh Ho Chi Minh. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. It's like Roosevelt. He used to come to America to listen to Marcus Garvey speak in Harlem. So you had the leader of the Northern Vietnamese resistance, the Viet Cong, will come to America just to hear Marcus Mosiah Garvey speak. So that's the power of who you are, black people. Marcus Garvey had millions of followers. He didn't have no social media back then. He wasn't on the radio all the time. Marcus Garvey had millions of black folks around the world believe what he was saying. Never one step foot in Africa, but had black folks thinking Africa, manifesting African independence, and all that stuff. So don't be a slave to fear. Don't be a slave to fear. Be willing to die for what you want. Be willing to live for what you want. But don't tell me that slavery is not a choice. The Haitians proved that slavery was a choice. Maroons proved that slavery was a choice. So many ancestors proved that slavery was a choice. This is not the moment to really criticize Kanye. This is the moment to thank God for Kanye for having this conversation, but let it be constructive. Let's start creating curriculum that support that black folks fought back. Let's start letting our children know about the Seminole, about the Gullah Wars, about John Horse, about all these incredible black men and women that fought back. Don't be lulled to sleep by the lies. Don't be caught in emotionalism. Black folks, we're beautiful people. We're spiritual people. By us being so spiritual, that makes us emotional. I ain't talking about religion. Religion is politics, right? Religion is a way to control people's belief. It's politics for your beliefs. That's what religion is to me. Like the Vatican is more political than religious. And they know this. So, with that said, thank you, family, for listening to me rant once again. But find out more about Sister Fannie Lou HaMEr. She was a phenomenal woman. She didn't have a lot of education, formal education, but she had a lot of mother wit and common sense. And that's uncommon these days. But let's go back to the ancestor Fannie Lou HaMEr, who understood, like I said, that the black family was the real Holy Trinity, the black man, woman, and child. She believed in the village. She believed in us. God bless Fannie Lou HaMEr and all the unnamed heroes and she-rules that fought the good fight, that's willing to die for what they want and was not afraid of any man. Because what Biggie said, niggas bleed just like us. You got to put your pants on like I put my pants on. You got to eat, sleep, and shit. Why should I be afraid of you? You could kill a man, but you can't kill an idea. So I want to thank everybody. I thank you all for supporting the We All Be movement. Like I said, it's amazing. I go anywhere in the country and people recognize Brother Run, We All Be. People tell me that they had learned so much, that they had begun their journeys. They were searching for Baba Dick Gregory, but end up staying because of the content outside of Baba Dick Gregory. So I want to thank everybody because like I have my shortcomings, but like Fannie Lou HaMEr said, if I got to fall, if I got to die, she said, I fall 5 feet 4 inches forward. So if I got to die, I'll fall 6 feet and some inch forward in the name of progress. And I want to thank everybody because it really rejuvenates my soul and spirit. And if you like the words of Brother Heard, what you heard, please spread it. Spread the word. Share this video with your networks, friends, and families, and loved ones, and even your enemies. Also, support the movement. You know, you can buy We All Be gear. Got the Man Up Joe Brown. Man Up! I hope y'all been listening to Judge Joe Brown. And, you know, if you hear more from Judge Joe Brown, it's because we believe that his message was very important. And I'm thankful to all the other alternative media outlets out there picking up on Judge Joe Brown. Like, they really making him available to their audiences. Because Judge got a lot of good things to say. You might not agree with everything he says, but he makes you think he's a true thought provocateur. So if you want to help me spread the word and do these things and interview these people, because I'm taking all type of chances to get this information out here, because there's a reason why they outlaw slaves' ability to read and write. They didn't want slaves to know how to read and write for themselves. Once you start reading for yourself and doing your own research, just don't take my word for it. Don't just look at me as the person that's, oh, he's authority. Challenge my authority. Challenge my authority, right? You know, Cartman from South Park. You can challenge it by doing your own research and creating your own platform. We need a village of black media out here. We don't need just one black media source. See, if we had a real black media presence, if we had a large black media infrastructure, the stuff that happened with Cosby would not have gone down the way it went down. Cosby would have had a fair chance to present the actual facts of the case. And that's another video. But we talked about it with Judge Joe Brown. You could check it out at We All Be TV, youtube.com/We All Be TV. But that's either here or there. But let me just wrap it up by saying, please support this platform. You could become a recurring donator through the patreon.com/weallbe. Make a one-time or even recurring donation through the PayPal. And all that is available at the end of this video and also in the subscription box below. Also, you can buy Artivist gear. We're R2C2H2 Art. Like I said, I got the Man Up Judge Joe Brown. Go to our several teespring.com pages. And also, you can buy, art to hang up in your home or as gifts. Especially Mother's Day coming up. Do some speedy delivery, special delivery. So anyway, I say all this to say once again, thank you all so much for listening. Keep an open mind always. Be open to receiving all the blessings that the universal have in store for you. And the words in the great Duke Ellington, we love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing. Thank you so much. God bless. And do yourself a favor. Find out about Fannie Lou HaMEr. You won't be sorry. Peace.